first up, I've got Mark in Canada. Mark, are you with me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Good morning.
Well, look at that. Could you hear me while you were in the queue?
Absolutely, loud and clear.
Perfect. Oh my gosh, this might actually work. Who knows?
Yeah, so far, so good.
Yeah. All right. So let's pretend it's a radio show. What can I help you with today?
Sure. I just had COVID, and I wasn't horrible. Headaches were the worst of it all, or just about. The strange thing, and the reason why I'm calling is because you find this interesting. I lost my arm when I was 16 years old, just below the elbow. And I have phantom pains, and I'm aware most people know what it is. Some people don't. Anyways, I still feel my hand, and not always in a pleasant way. And my phantom pains were out of control. Still.
Wow.
Yeah, it is. It's like having your hand in a vice. And there's nothing you can do about it. Doesn't matter.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
So when you went through the surgery, I'm sure they explained all this to you. Did they explain, or do they even understand what causes phantom pain?
Well, what it is, it's pretty basic actually. Your brain still thinks, because the I don't feel the straight part of my arm. Like I feel my hand in my stump, just below the elbow. That's where I feel my hand. So what happens is the nerve ending. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I'm just trying to think this through, because if I'm going to try to come up with some help, I got to understand what's happening. So here's the thing. When I feel my hand, for example, right now, yeah. I know it's there. I don't, I can feel temperature. I don't feel any real pain right now. It feels normal. So is that the same thing that can happen with phantom pain? Can you feel like your hand is there, but it feels normal sometimes and other times it hurts?
No, if you feel it, it always has some pain attached to it, because your nerves are damaged. Yeah. And what happens is when you... Yeah, so what happens is when you cut off a nerve, it grows a tiny little ball on the end, and it has a name, and it escapes me right now. And and they're like super sensitive. Like if I touch my arm, or I put on my prosthetic arm the wrong way, it will just send me through the roof. So what happens is all of that seems amplified.
So
the only thing that really helps is smoke and weed. But I drive, so I can't quite do that.
Yeah.
Problematic.
That helps. Yeah, that helps with all kinds of pain. So
yeah,
it's a shame we can't get it legal for drivers. I may start a campaign for that.
Well, I support that 100%.
I'm going to have to do some research, and I want to.
Sure.
I mean, this is what I love about the show. If somebody calls me with something I've never heard of, it's something I can go research. Pain in the body is almost always inflammation. So I'm wondering, does the same thing happen to these little nodes that grow? If they're not inflamed, then you're not feeling anything. And if they become inflamed, then you have pain. And if that's the case, then we could treat this just like any pain or inflammation, and we could try to treat inflammation maybe.
And I'm not really sure, because I am 99.9%. I've been listening to you for quite a while, and I am 99% grain free. I don't eat I eat very little garbage. I lost pounds, so it's like I'm kind of following your steps. Of course, my only problem I have is beer, but I knocked that off pretty good too. So.
Yeah, so even when we are super clean, super healthy, we will get inflammation. I mean, that's our body's way of repairing things. So if we get hurt, we get inflammation, it causes us pain, our body should repair it and it should go away. Under the standard American diet, we're so inflamed that it's just like you feel pain all the time and it never seems to go away. And when you do get it, it's worse. So I'm wondering, and again, I'm going to go do some digging into this. I'm assuming the COVID created some inflammation in your body. and that's why the pain levels went up. And what we need to do first, unless I come across more specific information about how to deal with, the phantom pain, I'm going to go look to see what kind of inflammation COVID may be causing and what we could do to lower that and see if that works.
Yeah, because I found it was specific. My phantom pains were, I've had a headache for, 2 weeks now, or a little one, right? I never get a headache, right?
Yeah.
Everything is better. I'm fine. I mean, it was two rough days. I spent one of them in the truck, and the other ones I've been at home. So, and it's been kind of nice because I just tell everybody I'm sick and everybody leaves me alone. So it's excellent.
That's right. Yeah. Put up a big sign of COVID, go away.
Yeah, exactly.
So
is being banished to the basement.
In the past, when you've had phantom pain, will like NSAIDs take care of it or even dull it a little bit? Aspirin, Tylenol, any of that kind of stuff?
No, nothing. Nothing touches it.
Touch.
Like I said, the only thing that really works, either A, I drink too much, so I drink all the pain away, which I don't really do that. That's not a big problem. And the other one is marijuana. Like, have a couple of good tokes and life is good.
Yeah.
If pain goes away, everything settles down. My brain settles down. It's just, everything is good.
Yeah, we smile, we get the munchies, we giggle.
Yeah, we giggle and then have a good nap, right?
All that fun stuff, right? Then we take
all
a nap.
That good stuff.
Yeah. So, have you ever heard of kratom?
Yes, I have. I've seen it down in the stores. Yeah.
Find a good source. I worry about the stuff at the convenience stores.
I've never bought that stuff, but
there you can buy it online. I'm not sure what it's like
in
Canada, if you can there or not.
I got a PO box in Blaine, so
okay. So go online, look for some. You'll see it. There's good organic sources of kratom.
Okay.
You want the red. There's, I believe, red, white, and green. Red is more for pain and sedation. That's kind of a Band-Aid, a short term. You've got some pain. Let's get you out of pain. You can't smoke pot because the driving. So try the kratom until we figure out what's causing this. And again, I'm just going to have to go do some research. What's causing it, and can we address this kind of inflammation or not? So I'll do some digging on that. Either send me a message directly, like an private message on either one of the websites, or send something to support@letstruck.com so I can follow up with you when I start doing the research.
Perfect. Fantastic.
And we may even kind of treat this like a one-on-one that's on me because I want to learn something.
Yeah, that's why I called in. I thought you'd probably find this very interesting.
I do. I will. I'll do some digging and just make sure you reach out and give me a way to follow up.
I will do that for sure.
Perfect.
All right. Well,
all right.
I'll keep listening. Do you want me to hang up and call the other number just to listen, or can I just stay on this line?
No. Yeah, I'm going to put you back in the queue, and we'll see how that works. And if for some reason it doesn't work and I hang up on you, then call back on the listen-only line.
Sure enough. Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Thanks. All right, so first call successful. I like when that happens. Let's go talk to Stephen, who wants to talk about porn. Stephen, do you really want to talk about porn, or are you just being funny this morning?
No, corn. I said corn. I mumbled. Corn. I'm sorry about that, sir. I'm sorry.
No, there's the first goof from my auto screen system. That's kind of funny.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I'm grain free, and I don't listen to you all the time. So I know you kind of talk down on corn. I don't know exactly what the problem is there, but I was in San Antonio, Texas, loading, and a guy I work with there, I've been working with for about 20 years. Well, he always brings me tacos. So I said, well, bring me tacos that got corn, because I ate some corn, and I didn't get the pain that I get, when I get them flour tortillas. from,
Okay.
because I had ate some of those. I was up there with Steve from Reliable, and I can never say his last name. But anyway, his when we was doing the Reese, and a buddy of mine came up there, and his wife made this homemade salsa, and she had quesadillas. Well, I tore them quesadillas up to dip into that salsa. And I can tell you the following day when we were loading those wreaths into the trailers, man, I was in pain like I'd never been in pain in my life. I ain't going to lie to you. I really felt it. You know what I mean? So
right.
Anyway, I ate those tacos with the corn tortillas, the white corn tortillas, and I didn't get no pain.
Okay, so let's explain that. So corn is a grain. Corn is not nearly as bad as wheat, though. Wheat has gluten and gliadin and causes us all kinds of, inflammation right away. Corn can do that for some people, but it's not as likely. It's still a grain. It still is pretty high in carbs, so if you're watching weight or blood sugar, you'd want to watch that. If you are going to eat corn, for example, like you said, you had those tacos, you loved them, you didn't get any pain, doing that once in a while I don't think is a big deal. Maybe even once or twice a week, see how you feel. If you start to notice any real downsides from it, I might quit. The other thing, if you can, now if you're going to taco trucks and that kind of stuff, you're not going to have any choice. They're just going to have a shell and you take it. If you're buying corn products in the store, tortillas, chips, anything like that, at least make sure you get organic. And the reason is that the corn in this country is all GMO. Like 90% of it is GMO. And we have no idea what GMOs do to our body. So I'd rather just stay away from them. If you get organic corn, it can't be GMO. So blue corn, white corn, as long as it's organic, it's at least not a GMO. And if you're not having any real reaction to it, you want to do it once in a while, I would say go ahead. The other option, because I love tacos and I don't want to eat corn, Siete Foods makes taco shells that are grain-free. They're really good too. Yeah, they're really good.
I do.
But if you're going to eat it,
all that stuff at home.
Yeah, if you're going to eat a taco out once in a while, get it in corn instead of flour, and it sounds like it's not bothering you as much. I don't think it'll be that big of a deal, really.
Okay, that was my question, sir. So the system seems to work well there, and I'll support you forever, just so you know. I appreciate your time.
I appreciate that. Thanks. It's kind of funny that, because Stephen he's got a pretty dry sense of humor sometimes, so I thought he was joking with me. But we're testing out our auto screening capabilities. Not sure yet if we're going to have a full-time screener, and we may not be able to have a full-time screener for all the shows. So I want to test this out for some of the episodes where we might not have a screener. Let's go to Dale Howard. Is that you?
It is. Boy, flashback to Audio Road and the old compliance corner.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, speaking of which, are you going to be joining us as a host?
Absolutely.
That would be awesome. Compliance Corner can relaunch as well.
And I thought I may as well be your first controversial caller.
Okay. Well, I thought the porn was going to be, and before that we had cannabis. So we're off to a rip-roaring start here.
Oh, gosh, I can top that.
Okay. What you got?
Well, I am one of two Level 2 autonomous driver trainers here in Canada.
Wow. That's exciting, I think.
Well, it's interesting. We partnered with the University of Alberta, and we were doing a study on driver fatigue on how autonomous technology will impact the driver. And the trials are over. All the data has gone to the University of Alberta, and they're just crunching numbers, so I'll update you as soon as they're available. But really cool technology. Society isn't quite ready for, driverless trucks right now. So I think this Level 2 driver assist is going to be where it goes first.
Huh. All right. So what have you been able to experience so far?
I personally have driven the trucks, and it is cool technology. It's doing everything that it's supposed to do. And to be fair, autonomous trucks will kill people. We will lose our mind, but
yes,
we just have to ask ourselves. And I'm making the air quotes here. How many people have we killed this morning from midnight to now with a professional driver behind the wheel?
Yeah, if every death in the last 12 hours or whatever it's been were all autonomous trucks, you're right. It would be headline news everywhere, and we'd all be losing our mind. But humans kill drivers every minute.
Exactly.
We just got used to it. Yeah, we just got used to it.
Yeah, and it's like violence and everything else. We've been desensitized, and it's just we had another 200-car pileup. Next.
Yeah, yeah. I wasn't even thinking about those. You're right. I just came through, 84 East by the Blues there, where they had that huge pileup last week.
Sure, and it it makes the news for a day, and then that's it, and we move on, because it's just we view that as the cost of doing business. The beauty of the autonomous technology is if road conditions warrant a speed of 40 miles an hour, that's what the truck will drive. The autonomous vehicle will never stare out the window and go, God, that ain't that bad out there. I can make this.
Yeah, that old saying, 40 miles an hour, my ass, I'm a professional.
Well, exactly, and I got shit to do. So,
that's right.
It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. And it's funny, when you first started talking about this, I thought, no, God, I'm never going to see this. And God, here we are.
Here we are.
Probably 5-7 years later, and
yeah.
I've driven the technology.
And it's being used to move freight, and it's kind of interesting that the transition when we get some of this technology, but we're still needed in the truck. Like you said, it's cool technology. It might be, really interesting. The hard part about it is we look at it and go, as soon as this gets good enough, it's going to replace us.
And it's, it will replace a segment of the industry, but it's not, we're never going to take all the drivers out of the trucks. There's going to be niche markets and markets that, just cannot be done with an autonomous truck. The mindless coast-to-coast freight that we can't get drivers in the seats anyway. So, what are we going to do?
Yeah. No, it's going to be an interesting time, but thanks for giving us an update on that, because a lot of people don't realize how much is going on behind the scenes with this stuff already.
Oh, yeah, and it's, we can stamp our feet and we can do whatever we like. It's not going anywhere. And, you can we're either at the table or we're on the menu.
Yeah, good point. I like that. I'm going to be at the table and figuring out how we're going to benefit from this.
Absolutely. So that's all I got. So safe travels, and
all right.
Yeah, gosh.
So how was the whole process here? Dialing in? Can you hear fine on hold? Everything working good from your end?
You bet. And I actually called in on the listener line and went through the queue to get into the call-in portion, because I wanted to try that.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to write that in the note. Just because you call in on the listen-only line doesn't mean you're stuck or you have to hang up and call back. Don't you just hit 1 or something?
It's *1, and that puts you in the queue.
And the menu must tell you that, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect. All right. Well, it seems like the technology seems to be working. Dale, I'm going to return you to the queue so you can listen, and we are going to talk to Jesse. Jesse, welcome to the program.
How's it going?
It's going great. Great to
road.
have you here today. What's on your mind?
Yeah. Well, I was originally going to talk about mandates and stuff like that, but listening to these health questions, I realized that there's a question I've been meaning to ask you. So I was a vegetarian for, I think, about a year and a half, and I stopped last April, I think, 2021. And I noticed my health was just like crap, and I've been listening to you long enough to know that the stuff I was eating was causing it. So I went pretty much I started AIP paleo, then I just kind of went to regular paleo. I haven't been that great now, but my main problem with why I stopped the vegetarian thing that was bothering me the most was my hair was getting thin. And I still am having problems with that. I'm not really sure. I started taking biotin, but I don't really like taking stuff if I'm not even sure if it's doing anything.
Right. Right.
So it's not really doing anything.
So, you said you're kind of regular paleo now. Give me an idea of what you would eat in a average day.
Okay, so I'm going to be completely honest. I moved recently, and I've been screwing up for the past months, but normally what I would want to be eating is just, eggs, bacon in the morning, chicken, veggies, meat, steak,
okay, good.
A burger with lettuce and onion and maybe a little mustard, but no ketchup.
Excellent. Excellent. So here's what I would say for now. Are you doing any bone broth at all?
I actually did have some bone broth at one point, but I forgot all about it. I could go back to that if you think that's a good idea.
I would go back to a cup of bone broth a day, at least a cup. I mean, you could do more if you want. Are you using any collagen in anything? Like, you put collagen in your coffee in the morning? Or
No. I've never supplemented collagen before.
Are you doing coffee?
I do. I actually do grass-fed butter, a little coconut oil, and then I have your vitamin DK drops.
Excellent. Get some of the get some of the Lona Life bone broth and get some of the Lona Life collagen. And
is that in the store?
So, yeah, they're both in the store. The collagens are either unflavored, mocha, or vanilla. The mocha and vanilla, they do use stevia, so it's got a little bit of that funky, sweetener taste. I tend to use just a really little bit. And if you're doing it every day, a little bit of collagen, or go with the unflavored if you want to be able to add more. But I think adding bone broth and collagen, and those are more like foods than supplements. It's more like kind of real food stuff. I'm not wild about taking supplements, especially if I can't tell if it's doing anything either.
Exactly.
So I would start with that. I would give it 30 days of getting back to eating the way you want to eat. I'm not going to ask you what you've been eating, but that's kind of a setback. You weren't eating clean, and that's kind of a setback. So what I'd like to see you do is get through 30 days of pretty clean eating. The way you just described is ideal. Add the bone broth and the collagen and see if we see any improvements. And if not, call me back, or maybe at that point it might even pay to do a discovery call.
Okay, that'd be great. Yeah. It was awesome.
I'm gonna let the cat out of the bag since I just mentioned that, and since this is only tribe members here anyway. The new show I alluded to for Destination Health, the idea that I'm working on, will be a show where Lauren and I do live discovery calls and one-on-ones with people who are okay with it. I get it, it's medical, and some people wouldn't want to do that, but we can, make it anonymous. We can use first names. We can use pseudo names. I don't care. But the idea would be so people can kind of sit in on a one-on-one and listen to us working through it, and then even maybe just a discovery call, or maybe a show with the combination of both. So people kind of see, one, what the process is like, so they get comfortable with it, and two, a lot of times it's the same stuff. What I'm dealing with on, this one-on-one call, you may learn a lot from as well. So that's in the works. I'm pretty sure we're going to launch that and see how it goes.
That's going to be awesome. That's actually ideal. I like that idea.
Good. All right. Anything else I can help you with?
I was going to ask another question, but I'll let some other people get on here. This worked really well, and I look forward to whatever you have coming up next, and I'm glad that we could still connect with you. So it's good.
Good, good. So I'll put you back in the queue. I think, what I'm leaning towards now is picking a regular time. I was kind of a little relieved not being on Sirius anymore, that I'd have my entire schedule back to myself, and I could kind of do things on the fly the way I like. But I really think that I need to have at least one regular hour 5 days a week to just so we stay consistent. So I may pick a time and just launch here within the next week or two a regular scheduled everyday kind of free for all show, just Q&A, free for all stuff, and then we'll start filling in with our specialty shows as well. Let's go back to the queue. All right, somebody called the question line, but they're just listening in, so I'll pass them up. We're going to talk to Amber this time. Amber, welcome to the program.
Hey, Kevin, it's actually her husband, Jim. We were doing like a tag team there.
Oh, got it. Okay. I was going to say,
yeah.
Amber, you
hey,
got like a deep voice there.
Yeah, right, especially after last night's concert. So we were curious about, the idea of testing carnivore. After 40 years of hearing, meat and fat is going to clog your arteries, and people do get clogged arteries from plaque and have heart attacks. What do you think is causing that?
It's not a matter of what we think. We know this for an absolute fact. This isn't even disputed anymore. It's really not. You're never going to see the well, maybe they'll admit it someday, but they just kind of gloss over it and try to change without admitting that they were 100% incorrect. Meat and fat do not clog arteries, not in any way. They just don't. What actually does is dietary carbohydrates. And it's insulin. A reasonable amount of carbohydrates, which as a hunter-gatherer, the most you would probably be able to consume in a day might be 100 grams. Now, that's not super low carb, but if we ate that way our whole life, we wouldn't have a problem. But starting as kids, we start consuming 300 grams of carbohydrates a day. And they're garbage. And then we throw in all the preservatives and all the other crap. But what happens is when we spike insulin, that's when your body will start storing fat, and it will start clogging arteries. And all of the damage starts when we start spiking insulin. So the opposite happens when you go from the standard American diet to a paleo, keto, or carnivore. The damage will actually start to reverse itself.
Yeah, that totally makes sense, and I believe you. It's just so frustrating when I see a cardiologist a week ago and face to face. I'm like, what causes this? It's like there's thousands and thousands of studies that beef is the primary cause, right? And you Google it, and the first,
Here's the.
He
funny
said red
thing.
meat. Sorry, he said red meat.
Yeah, come on, give me a break. Red meat's no different than white meat, and whatever. It's not
no,
causing the problem. So, and here's the thing: did when just go back 200 years, people weren't having heart attacks. Were they not eating meat? Well, hell, they were. That's what they ate all day long. We didn't have breakfast cereal. We didn't have bagels. And so they ate meat mostly, and eggs and animal products and some vegetables. And heart attacks started in the last century. Heart attacks really started around the 1930s. And one of the causes was we started switching to corn oil and vegetable oils and Crisco. That was the first problem, were the bad fats, the kind of fats we absolutely should not be consuming. But those aren't animal fats. They're highly processed industrial seed oils and Crisco, and that was the first cause of it. Then we started piling on the carbohydrates, and it's no wonder that this problem gets worse every decade. We are moving away, farther and farther away from a hunter-gatherer diet, and heart attacks keep getting worse. That should be the clue.
Yeah, I hear you loud and clear. I'm just reiterating that there's all that. There's that headwind for people that have, if you have been listening to mainstream medical advice, it's hard to completely wrap your head around that. That's just been all BS this whole time. That's it. I'm just throwing that out there.
No, you are absolutely correct, and that's what we have to fight against. And it's hard to change 50 years of programming.
Right. Why do you think they point the finger at red meat? I don't get it.
This may sound totally cynical, and I wasn't saying this when I first started down the health path, but I've done enough of this to know now. Our medical system is designed to do one thing and one thing only.
Yep.
Generate massive amounts of profit.
Right.
That's it. And if since that's the case, if they started telling us the truth, look what happens to people. You listen to this show, right?
Yeah, all the time.
What happens to people? Diabetics who are on 3 or 4 medications, spending $10,000 a year on their care, end up on no medication and not even going back to the doctor anymore.
The results are fantastic. I love hearing those stories, and yeah, we're on the path. I mean, we're doing it right.
Yeah, think about how much money they're losing.
Yeah. Yeah. And my wife just said the Rudera is really helping her sleep if you want some more results.
Excellent.
And maybe hormones, she says. So, yeah, we've been on the yogurt since you started talking about that, and that's been great. And I'll let you go. I am going to say we're going to, of course, follow you. I hope the convenience of the Sirius isn't going to mess with us too much here. We're off on the road or on a boat, and that's if you're saying all we need is a cell connection, well, hopefully that works out. But I just wanted to throw it out there. You don't want us to call in and complain and try and get you back on Sirius, do you?
No. In fact, okay. I made up my mind the first day. If they invited me back, I wouldn't go.
Okay.
I'm excited about where we're going. I think we'll be able to accomplish a whole. Now we're going to have to work hard to get bodies in and people listening, and our goal is to help as many people as possible. But I'm excited about this. I think, and as far as convenience, it will get to the point where you won't even need a cell connection when you want to listen. It'll get to the point where our app, every time a new episode that you've subscribed to shows up, you could set it to automatically download, and then at any time, anywhere with no connection, you could listen to the shows. If you want to listen live, you're going to have some sort of a connection to listen live. One of the ideas we're exploring, and I'll just throw this out there because I want feedback from our tribe, and that's why I want to do these events with just the tribe right now, because I want the tribe to help kind of guide where we're going with this. We're looking at several options. One of the things I'm thinking about is making a setup, and I'm really kind of thinking out loud here, where the show is available when we're live. Like right now, we're live. This, I don't know if I'll record and post this anywhere or not. I might. But while we're live, we're thinking about that would be free to anybody. If you want to listen to the show, and we'll figure out how exactly you do that, there might be multiple ways to listen, but to listen to the live show would be free. To have access to all of the recordings and the apps and to be able to listen anytime you want, go back a year and listen to a show, that is probably where we'll have a subscription service, because we do need to monetize this somehow. So that's one of the ideas we're kind of throwing around.
All the big radio shows do that anyway, so might as well join the club. And my advice to you is, I think you should stay on this real quick and attack it while it's still hot, right? You don't want to out of sight, out of mind. You want to get back on this. Yeah.
That's why I'm sitting in a truck stop parking lot today in Idaho talking to you.
All right, buddy. Appreciate that. Really good to hear your voice, and we wish you the best, and we're going to follow you wherever you go.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I really probably should be on the road right now. I still need to get 8 hours of driving in today, which, that won't be any big deal. Let's get to another call. Let me figure out how this thing's working here. Let's try Lee, welcome to the program.
Hey, Kevin.
Hey
you
there.
Hear me?
I can. What's on your mind today?
Hey, you were talking to me, and I was running across southern New Mexico about selling my investments to retire out. Remember that? Back.
I do.
Yeah. Hey, I made $84,000 in dividend income and long-term capital gains off those investments.
Nice.
So we're setting up pretty good for retiring. And my wife's listening in.
Okay.
And she's a type 1 diabetic. And I finally got off my blood pressure medicine because as we spoke, talked about changing that job. So I took the local job here working, and I'm now off of high blood pressure medicine. In fact, I still go 110/60 on some days without medication.
Congratulations.
So, and the wife's dropped on her A1Cs, and she's had to reduce her insulin down.
My basal.
That is the goal for type 1 diabetics. Type 2, our goal is just to eliminate it, get them back to normal, get them off all medications. That's not possible with the type 1. Our goal on a type 1 is to get your insulin consumption down as low as we can possibly get it.
It's working. We've moved to a higher protein, carnivore style diet. And
it will for type 1s, the change in their life and health outcomes are dramatic. I mean, I'm sure your wife is aware of all of the potential really bad health outcomes for type 1s. Most people don't live a really great life as a type 1. It's difficult. But when you can get your carb count down so low and get that insulin down, it will make huge differences.
I'm hoping so. She's an experiment now.
There you go. Well, keep me informed and let me know how it's going. Anything I can answer for you today about it?
Well, she's doing the fermenting.
Good.
We're stepping back into canning. Because I'm home now, I'm stepping back into the gardening and following a lot of your stuff on that. I'm going organic
there you
with
go.
that.
You're going beyond organic.
Yeah, we're using pretty much, except for my water sources on rural water because we have no wells in our area. We can't. Yeah, they're drillable.
Yeah, that's no big deal. All right. So, anything else?
Thanks for all the information you gave me over the time and helped improve me and my wife.
You are welcome. So, thank you for all of your support.
It's good that you're back this way. We were going through healthytribe.com and all that, and she told me today, "Hey, Kevin's got this phone thing." So, but I got to hang up and I got to get the daffodils planted before the moles get into the gardening area and destroy the thing already planted.
There you
go. All right, Kevin, keep up the good work.
Will do. You're welcome. Great talking to you. And I'm glad that we're doing this. Like I said, I didn't really want to wait any longer. I know we don't have this all figured out yet. And we'll get it all figured out. We'll make it professional. We'll make it easy to access. That's why I want to test as many things as I can before I make a lot of decisions. Let me see what we've got for calls here. Let's talk to John. John, it's your turn. Welcome to the program.
Hey, Kevin. Thank you very much. Just recently started listening to you about a couple months ago when I decided to take your advice when I heard and go to my local CDL school to get my CDL. I'm 45 years old and decided to take on this new career, so very excited. So thank you for that advice.
Well, welcome to the industry.
Thank you. After these last 12 years of running and managing retail stores, needless to say, brick and mortar the last 2 years is not the same as it was, and it's exciting to have a new four walls to look at every 5 minutes of work now.
Oh yeah, what a change this would be. is it possible to turn down that music or whatever's in the background?
Oh, I'm sorry. It's my trainer. I'm in the back bunk right now, and my trainer's actually finished driving. Let me ask him if he can turn that down real quick.
There we go. Hey, while you're doing that.
Hey, is that better? Is that better, Kevin?
Much better. Thank you.
All right.
Thank
you. No problem.
One of the things I can see that's going to be kind of funny on my end if I use this automatic call screening software. I'm going to bleep this out, but it basically says, "Hi, my name is John. Just recently bought it for the effing ministry." And I have a feeling you said trucking industry.
Well, I'd say some of what you do might be ministry, but that's definitely that is really funny.
Yeah. So Steven wanted to talk about corn, and it came across as porn. You wanted to talk about trucking, it came across as I won't. All right, go ahead.
That's pretty funny. No, so before I got into the industry, I was pretty much all carnivore, pretty 90% meat, and I'd have an avocado with my steak or an apple with my bacon and eggs and things like that. So obviously, to say these last 5 weeks of being on training and living in truck stops has done a number to my diet. But the real question I plan on getting back, and I've gone through Healthy Tribe and starting to get some ideas on how to eat clean once I get my own truck here in another 2 weeks. So looking forward to that. My question is just my first year, being 45 years old and getting into this new industry, and I'm super excited, and this is probably what I want to do and build my own business, for the rest of my life and start working for myself is, not sure if I should say the company that I decided to go with, but how do I maximize, just my time this first year to really gain as much knowledge as I can out on the road, to help me set up, my eventual owner-operator, my business in the future.
Got it. All right. So I have one question for you. This is the key to all of this. So I already know you have memberships to our site. They're following us. So that's key. We have lots of resources. The next thing you need, if you don't have it, is an Audible account. Do you have one yet?
I do.
Excellent. The best way to maximize this is read, listen, learn. It's all about just gaining as much knowledge as you can about business, about goal setting, about trucking. You're not going to find much out there on trucking other than what we have. We have a course. If you haven't looked at our courses yet, I have a course that will walk you step by step through every step of getting the business. First off, I go through the whole first chapter, which is a pretty long chapter, on making sure this is really what you want to do. I ask you a lot of really specific questions, get you thinking about things, and many times somebody will send me an email and they'll say, chapter 1 was worth every penny I paid for it. It's the only one I read, and I decided not to do this. They were convinced they wanted to until they went through what it was really going to take and, what you need to do if you want to be successful. And a lot of people decide after chapter 1, they just don't want to do it. If you decide you want to, then the rest of the book will tell you every step that you need to do to be successful. So I would absolutely start there. Clearly listen to the show, ask questions on the website, but just, go through my book list, there's just so many good books out there, and you have all day to listen.
That's right. Well, I appreciate it. I will dive into all that, and as I get more questions, and maybe I can, as I get into the industry some more and get some more experience, and I can more narrow down my questions, I will definitely keep following you, and I'll call back. And thanks for doing what you do. You're
welcome. Thanks for the call. All right, boy, I'm a little shocked at how smooth everything is going here. Let's grab another call. We're going to hear from Brandy this time. Brandy, welcome to the program.
Glad to hear you again, Kevin. I was really concerned that I was like, oh, gosh, not again. Well, anyway, I have a question. It's going to be like on censorship. It was something that I was listening really closely to, but I could never seem to get the answer. And now that you're here on sort of private radio, I was thinking, now I can answer, or now I think I can get this question answered. you always asked a lot of whys. But you would also, when you talked to Bruce, you would say the same things I was asking you, but you would tell him what I was saying, but you weren't. You said sometime that if I keep talking like this, I'm going to get pulled off the air. So I start to get the impression that you could not talk about certain things lest you'd be afraid you were going to get yanked off the air for being a conspiratorialist. But you would say things that were really confusing to you. Had the whys, and you would tell Bruce, this is what I think, this is what it is. But then on the air, you would say, well, it's this and it's this. But it would really be confusing to me. So I was just thinking, was that the reason, or was it also the reason that maybe you didn't want to alienate your audience?
So we're going to have to, I'll give you some general answers, but then I think for me to answer this, we're going to have to get a little more specific about what the topic was. About the only topic we kind of avoided specifically was deleting. Just because the FDA, or not the FDA, the EPA cracked down. Pittsburgh Power went through a huge audit. They had to clean up a lot of things, and they stopped deleting a long, long time ago. But the EPA, we believe at a time, was monitoring my show about deletions. That was a decade ago, though. We still don't like to talk about it. That's why Bruce says, no, just say it's repaired. Don't say it's deleted. That's one of the very few topics that I can think of that I absolutely avoided. Now, when you say conspiracy, reason you might be
that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's not that I avoid talking about it. Look, there are conspiracy theories out there that claim that there's a microchip in the vaccine, right?
Yeah.
They're out there.
But when you get Bruce to agree with you, then I know you're on the same track I am. But you'll listen to him, you don't know me.
Randy, you're going to give me some specifics because I'm just not sure what you're saying.
Okay, well, we were, you were, so it was revolving around the vaccine mandate, but then it's like you were saying to him, it's like, I have to almost believe this is deliberate, and it's far more than the vaccine. And Bruce would say, yeah, but he says, I don't want to say that because if I say that, I'm going to get pulled off the air. So I would start.
Randy, stop. You're saying that I made the statement, if I talk about that, I'll be pulled off the air?
Well, it would be a conspiratorial talks that
so let me
whether you were
clarify.
joking or not, I don't know.
Let me clarify something. When it comes to conspiracy theories about the government or COVID or whatever it might be, the vaccine, I did not avoid them for fear of being pulled off the air, ever. I avoid them because most of them cannot be proven clearly. There's lots of them, and what do we do with them anyway? That's my point. If somebody wants to claim that there's a microchip in the vaccine, well, they'd have to prove that it's there. I can't prove that it's not there. So, and I'm not taking the vaccine anyway, so I don't care. So, no, to answer your question, I never once avoided a conspiracy theory because I thought I was going to get pulled off the air. I just really don't like talking about conspiracy theories. I like talking about things I can prove and things I can act on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the first place to get help is to start out where we believe is, so then we can go ahead and find a way to sort of tackle it, I guess.
Well, and let's talk about the vaccine. I never once really went down the road of, there's some mind control chemical in it. There's a microchip. It's going to make us grow a third eye in a year. But here's what I did know. I looked at COVID. Based on what data I can get, do I think COVID is a danger to me? No, I really don't think so. I'm pretty healthy. I'm metabolically healthy. I think I'd be fine. I might need some therapeutics, so I lined up those. But I'm not taking the vaccine because I don't really think I need it. No big conspiracy theories. Just I don't believe I need it. Then when the vaccine came out...
Did you have a doctor on that said it attacked the immune system? I'm sure
there's
you did. I remember hearing it.
Hold on.
I reported it.
I was getting to that next.
Okay.
Then we started seeing results of the vaccine and the damage it was causing. And then I did start to actively say, I would seriously consider before you take this that people are being harmed by it. It still doesn't matter to me. I'm not taking it because I don't need it. But I did put out, or I tried to put out, what information I could about all the harm the vaccine was causing. And I talked about it on the air nonstop. So it certainly wasn't like I was worried about getting pulled off the air over that. Although I'm sure it's a cumulative, all of my topics and all of the things I fight back against is probably the reason I got terminated because of one sentence one time. I didn't get a second chance, and I'm sure that's because I pushed the limits on just about everything on the air.
It's free speech. You should be able to say what you want.
Exactly. Well, hold on, because I'm about to defend Sirius, believe it or not. It's their platform. They get to choose. No, and they get to choose. And somebody's going to say, well, Howard Stern says all kinds of crazy shit, far worse than what Kevin. Yeah, Howard Stern generates hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue. And that's who Howard Stern is, and that's who it always is. So if Sirius decides they want to let Howard Stern say stuff like that, but on the trucking channel, they don't want me saying stuff like that, it's their channel. It's their platform. They spoke. I'm gone. I'll go build my own platform, and I'll say what I want to say.
So I think it was Wednesday. It might have been Wednesday. I know I didn't make it on there. I think you mentioned it. It might have been Tuesday. I referred to the screener that you ought to listen to the Glenn Beck show or Steve Day show for where your why answers could be found, because you were going to be driving and yet you would have oodles of time. The reason why I believe that so much is because that's like an employee sponsored business. All the listeners.
Randy,
yeah.
You're going to have to remember that most of the people, and I'm going to generalize here, but almost every person I dealt with at Sirius from day one, 15 years, I really did not deal with very many conservatives. Mostly fairly progressive liberal. I mean, come on, it's New York City. It's the entertainment industry that we just have to understand who we're dealing with. And sure, they have a lot of, they have a big platform. They have the Patriot Channel, and but they decided they didn't want me on the trucking channel anymore. So, like I said, it's their channel.
Yeah,
it's their choice.
That's exactly where I'm going. That's exactly where I'm going. I figured that's what it was. Yeah. Yeah.
But I will tell you, I never held back on any topic. So if it was a conspiracy theory, it wasn't because I was worried about the topic. It's just I don't like to talk about conspiracy theories.
Well, you had mentioned, I think you were going to try to pick up Bruce, and you didn't know how that was going to go because his thoughts versus your thoughts. It's like, so I could start to get to see the kind of personalities that they would clash.
No.
Your friends understand, but yeah.
Yeah, don't misunderstand me. If Bruce and I got together and drove across the country together, we would talk nonstop and there wouldn't be a single argument. We might disagree, but Bruce and I agree on more things than we disagree on. Bruce can get a little narrow-minded at times, and that's usually when I push back. The other day, when he kept making the statement, that couldn't have been an owner-operator. And finally, after he said it
I remember that.
Bruce, I'm going to stop you there because you're just wrong. It absolutely could have been an owner-operator, and you don't know that. But he can tend to get a little narrow-minded on that. But that's Bruce, and we love him, and Bruce and I could spend a month together. We have. Bruce and I have gone on vacation together and lived in the same house, and we have great conversations, and we disagree on a few things, but we never fight. Let's grab another call. Let's go to John. It looks like your turn. Welcome to the program.
Hi, Kevin. How are you today?
Doing good. What's on your mind?
Good. Sorry you're going through what you're going through, but like they say, when one door closes, another opportunity opens. So Hopefully, things will be a lot better.
I'm pretty excited about it.
My biggest thing is I need my 4-year-old daughter to help me work my cell phone. So when you go into this process, please remember that some of us don't have the tech savvy that a lot of other ones have, and it might be a little bit difficult for some of us.
Just know that is our number one concern and our number one priority. We realize that the reason it's so easy to build a big audience on Sirius is because it's right on somebody's radio. They know how to use it. They just press the button. You're there every day. And podcasts are very different. So that's why I think I am going to have a schedule, as much as I almost don't want to. I'm kind of excited about not having a schedule, but I think I'm going to have to set a schedule every day so we're there like it's radio. And we're going to have to make it just as easy that when we go live, you may even get a pop-up on your phone if you're, allowing notifications, and it might just say, click here to listen. I mean, it may be that easy.
Yeah. And I think I sent you a message. I got an email yesterday saying that you were going on doing something yesterday. The problem is I drive all day, so I don't check my emails till night. So I completely missed what you did in the day. But, if you got that pop-up thing, that'll help out a lot.
We will be using we'll be either be using notifications within an app, or we will be using a blast text message system that sends you a text when we go live.
Perfect. I can work text, and I can do that. I can get the app down. That'll be good. Hey, I got a question. You brought up the other day on one of your shows, you were talking to a gentleman about 1099s. I'm a company driver right now, and I'm on a W-2, but I've been looking around. Can you kind of do the pros and cons of a 1099 as a company driver, which is, I understand, a little bit illegal, and also as a lease purchase?
Well, let's set aside the lease purchase. There's no way not to be an independent contractor. If you're going to be in a lease purchase, you have to be an independent contractor. So there's no need to talk about the pros or cons. It just is what it is. As a company driver, sometimes you do get the choice, whether it's legal or not. We won't even go into that, because even when it's illegal, nobody ever does anything about it ever. So we can just ignore it and say, it's fine. You're going to pick which one you want. Since you have a choice, now it makes sense to go through the pros and cons. So let me go through the cons. You have to pay your own tax. That requires some discipline. It's not just the fact that you have to pay it. It's the fact that I have watched lots and lots of people get themselves in real trouble because they don't have the discipline to pay that money. So let me ask you this. How do you feel your discipline is around money? Do you have a really good credit score and money in the bank?
First of all, I had 20 years in business. I owned my own business for a time, so I was paying quarterly tax back then.
So we can skip that one then, because you know that one. You can make that decision whether you want to go back to paying your own taxes or not. If I'm talking to somebody who's never had to do it, and I ask them, do you have a good credit score and money in the bank? If they have a 600 credit score and they live paycheck to paycheck, I would say, don't do this. You're going to get yourself in trouble. You're going to take that tax money and you're going to go spend it. And then when it's time to pay the taxes, you're not going to have it. So don't. Now, if they have a, 780 credit score and they've got an emergency fund and they've got a savings account and they've got some investments, yeah, you can try this. You've got some discipline around money. We just have to make sure you set aside the taxes every week. So that's one. Two, you won't have any workers' comp. If that's an issue, if you can go out and buy a work accident policy fairly cheap. When I say fairly cheap, it could be $200 a month, and that would pay you limited benefits for workers' comp.
Right.
Not as good as a true workers' comp policy, but it does pay hospital bills and gives you a little bit of revenue. But you got to go out and pay for that, so you got to think about that as an expense. You would have no unemployment. Not that that's ever been much of a big deal in trucking, because I don't know of many unemployed truck drivers, unless they're hurt. If you're a truck driver and you want to work, you're going to go to work. So who cares about unemployment? But it's not there, so you should know that. You are paying more taxes, which you understand. You'll be paying both halves of Social Security and Medicare.
Yes.
Those are.
What about is there benefits? Is there benefits of the per diem?
Yeah. I'm going to go through the benefits.
Okay.
I want to make sure I'm not missing any of the downsides. I think those are the big ones. Yeah, that's probably it as far as the downside. The upside, there's really only one. The one upside is you will get full benefit of the per diem at that point. And as a company driver, the only way to get now, here's the thing. If I had a choice of, working as an independent contractor or just going to a carrier that paid their company drivers per diem, I'd rather just get the per diem paid.
Well, right. See, the company I'm with now, the first year I was with them, I was a what they classified OTR driver, and I got the per diem. I think that it was 11, 13 cents or something like that. I can't remember exactly. But I switched accounts, and I went to a dedicated account, and the dedicated accounts aren't eligible for per diem. So
okay.
Instead of them taking it, I have to do it at the end of the year.
Well, no, you can't. You can't take it at the end of the year if you're an employee.
Well, from what I'm understanding, and maybe you can correct me on this, from what I'm understanding, my accountant told me to keep track of the days that I was on the road.
You are a W-2 employee, right?
Yes.
You need a new accountant. Your new accountant doesn't understand that the tax law changed a couple of years ago. You can't take it anymore.
Okay, so the only way you can get it is to get it through the company.
Yeah, or be an independent contractor. Those are the two ways. Independent contractors and business owners can use per diem. Employees cannot deduct per diem, but they can receive per diem pay tax-free. Now, my question would be, I'd love to know how your tax preparer thinks he's going to do this. You can't even do it. The form doesn't allow you to.
Okay, so when I was getting per diem from the company and I was switching accounts last January, we had talked the year before. We had talked prior to last year, and that's when he had said, if you're going to switch to that, then keep track of it. So maybe, and I haven't talked to him I haven't brought him my taxes yet this year.
Okay, the tax law changed in 2018.
Okay.
That was the Trump tax.
I'm not.
I believe it happened.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, so
maybe
I'm not
I
sure
do need a new accountant.
I think you might, because, like I said, you used to use the form Schedule A and then a Form 2106 that was an employee's expense deductions, per diem, shoes, all that other stuff. They took that whole thing away. Those forms don't, the 2106, those forms don't even exist anymore. You can't take per diem or expenses for an employee. So when I hear tax preparers say this, I'm like, what are you guys thinking? Where are you going to do this? What form are you going to use? It doesn't even exist.
Okay. Yeah, I better look into that. And I think that's my problem. I know I'm 54 years old. I had my own business. I got out of it because I was tired of the headaches and all that stuff. And I got hurt. I went back into trucking because that's what I did before. I never wanted to buy another truck or buy another piece of equipment or be in business. But that's my dilemma now. My house, I've got probably about $2,500 left on it that I owe. I've got about $40,000 set aside. I'm starting to think of the owner-operator thing, but I'm too old, I think. That's my problem.
Well, I don't know if I would worry about being too old, but now's not a good time. You might just want to keep an eye on things. And, if you're listening to this show, it's something I'll be talking about because I think our economy is about to change a lot. And I think in the next 6 to a year, there may be, I think we're going to go through a really rough time. And then I think there's going to be some opportunities. So I would just keep an eye on it. I'm going to go back to the tax thing and just say one. After Biden took office, Biden had a flurry of executive orders, and I read some of them, and I ignored some of them, and I got sick of some of them. And I'm going to go back and make sure that he didn't write some kind of executive order that changed the tax code temporarily around this issue. There were some changes around per diem, but the only one I remember finding was the fact that if you qualify for per diem, you're an independent contractor and owner-operator, we're getting 100% during the COVID emergency instead of 80. But I'll go back and double check just to make sure I didn't miss something in one of these executive orders or temporary laws.
Okay. Well, good. Good luck on this new venture. I think it'll be good. We'll be able to when we're mad, we'll be able to swear and not have to worry about it.
I dropped a few salty words every now and then on satellite. It wasn't that big of a deal, and I had a couple F-bombs dropped. We don't pay much attention to that, but you're right. It feels kind of more liberating and free to be doing this now. I kind of like I said, the first day I was furious. I'm still feeling a little lost, but I'm getting more and more excited about rebuilding this network.
Good. Look forward to the changes, and hopefully it works out for everybody. I appreciate it.
All right.
And thanks for everything you do for all of us.
You're welcome. All right. We've still got calls coming in, so I'm going to keep taking them. Let's go to, let's see. Looks like, Mark, it's your turn. Welcome.
Oh, good afternoon, Kevin. How are you?
Doing good. What can I help you with today?
I'm just calling in because I'm a guinea pig and a member of the tribe. I am so happy that you're off Sirius, so I don't have to pay that subscription price anymore.
There you go.
You're about the only thing I listen to other than driving. I had a new car that had it, and that's kind of why I came back to you. I was been a listener since 2010, and then sort of separated from you for a while. I've met you at a CMC. I used to drive for David Morales in Jeff Zarley's old truck.
Oh, okay.
Jeff LD.
Got it. Yep.
What happened to Jeff? I haven't been able to get in touch with him. Have you heard from him lately?
Yeah, actually, when David passed away, Jeff and I worked together to help Rose deal with all the trucks and the contracts and the drivers. And Jeff really did a lot of it. I was more of kind of a consultant in the background, and Jeff was really helping her day to day. So I was on the phone quite a bit with Jeff for a while. I think he really wants to get back into trucking and be an owner operator again. And, I tell him he's so damn good at what he does, and he's so valuable over at CAT, and he makes a lot of money. He's really, really good at it, but I think he misses this.
I am shocked. Are you telling me David Morales has passed away?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry you didn't know. COVID.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, it's the only...
No,
I think it's the only verified COVID death of somebody that I actually knew. That was a friend and a business partner. David and I had some things.
Oh my God! I had no idea. I just was instant messaging him like 3 months ago.
Yeah, well, it's about. I don't think it hasn't even been that long. I don't think 2 months ago. I don't know. Time's been going by so fast lately. So just quick, they both David and Rose got it at the same time, and they called me right away. And neither one of them are like eating paleo or keto or anything like that. They just did the normal kind of diet stuff. And they both called and said, we've got it. We tested positive. We're not feeling good. And I said, here's the protocol you need to go find. You need to go find a doctor that can prescribe these things. And Rose immediately started doing it. And David said, I don't feel that bad. I'm going to wait. And about 4 days after that, he woke up and he was so sick, he went to emergency that morning and never came back out of the hospital. And the problem,
right? Yeah, as soon as you go to the hospital, you're done.
Well, we were in touch with Rose the whole time. I was talking to her, multiple times a day, saying, "Rose, look, you either have to get him to try this treatment, or you got to get him out of there." And she was telling me they won't give him the treatment, and I can't get him released. That's how bad this was. And
that's crazy.
And all they did was stick him on a ventilator, which seems to kill people.
Yeah, apparently it does. I did not know that. I'll reach out to Rose. I'm really sorry to hear that. My God, I had no idea.
Yeah, it was awful. Awful.
Yeah, I ran Jeff Zarley's truck for him at Landstar 2016 to 2017 for about a year. And then some stuff happened at home. But, yeah, I was in touch with them back when I found out you were on Sirius, because I bought a new car and it had Sirius. And I was like, Audio Road's gone. Kevin's on Sirius. I'm glad you're off, by the way. I think it was a bad decision by them. I think what you said warranted maybe a suspension and a spank on the butt. But I'm glad you're back on Audio Road. Go ahead.
I know a lot of people have said that, and it's not that I necessarily disagree, but if that's the way it would have gone, if they would have yanked me off the air and tried to punish me, I would have canceled my own contract.
Yeah, understandable. That's fine. I mean, I understand listening to you over the years. It's just one thing that you can't really say. Suggesting violence against somebody is not a good thing to do. Go ahead. Please, Kevin, go ahead.
That's in today's America, and I really don't want to live in today's America. I promise you, 2 years ago, I could have said that exact same thing 6 times in a show about 3 different people. It wouldn't have been a blip on the radar. Here's the difference. If I say, look, this guy's really screwing with me, and I want you guys to meet me here on this day, and we're going to go kick his ass, or I want somebody to go find him and shoot him. Well, clearly that's wrong, illegal, all kinds of things. But when we make those utterances emotionally, and everybody does, I'm so mad I could kill him, nobody takes those kind of things seriously. We were adults, and we understood the difference. I had no intent. Everybody knows that. And that's my point, why I don't think this was even something that needed to be apologized for, because we used to say those kind of things all the time. They're not dangerous. Nobody took me wrong and thought they should go shoot this guy. They knew exactly what I was saying, and that's what adults used to be able to do. So I'm not even apologizing. A lot of people are like, oh, no, he stepped over the line. I think I did, seriously. Here's what I'm wondering. Why have I not heard one single person say that congressman needs to be held accountable for his statement claiming he's going to take property away from American citizens because they're exercising their First Amendment right? Why aren't we asking why he said it?
I think people are. They're just not very vocal. And it's one of the reasons I listen to your show and actually appreciate it a little more, because you are vocal. You do state what you believe in, why you believe in it, and where it's coming from and where it should go. Same thing. We had citizens storming, apparently, the Capitol, and all our congressmen and senators were hiding in their little offices. Meanwhile, you have actual armed troops and tanks moving into Kyiv, and they're putting body armor on and arming themselves, going, we're going to protect our Capitol ourselves.
Well, exactly. And that's kind of my point. The whole January 6th thing was so overblown by the media. And I'm not saying some things didn't happen that were wrong. Of course they did. But they were not, it wasn't an armed insurrection. There wasn't a single person arrested with a weapon. None of those people.
No, and there was an innocent citizen shot. An unarmed citizen shot.
Right. Yeah. So I don't even really want to, go back all into that. We all know that. I'm going to put you back on hold. I got to check on some calls, and I got to look to see when I might need to wrap this up. I have a feeling this could go on all day, which is a good thing. Thank you, everybody, by the way, for amusing me here and working with me on the technology. I have to say, I'm pretty damn impressed. We haven't had a dropped call. We haven't had any call issues. Things are going pretty well. So I like this part of the system. So again, thanks for helping me. I'm going to take another call here. Then I'm probably going to wrap this up. I want to give you an update on some things that are going on. And then I probably wrap this up. I'm not sure who this is, but whoever just heard a beep, you're on. Who am I talking to? Somebody that wants to talk about the Super Bowl and health. All right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to mute you, and then I'm going to bring you back on again, and when you hear the beep, start talking. Are you there? Sure sounds like somebody's there, but I guess I'll put that call back in the queue. All right, so I'll just I'll do an update, and then I'm going to wrap this up again. Thanks so much. Really helped me to kind of get a feel for this technology. Now I can go in and play around with this and tweak it and get it set up and ready. And I have a couple other pieces that I've got to put together before we really kind of officially relaunch the show. But I will probably do something like this, maybe even every day this week, if not at least a couple times. A lot of it will depend on my schedule. So just know it's not going to be perfect. I want to work through some things and take my time and figure out the technology we want going forward. And then we'll put it all together and we'll make it nice and pretty and we'll make it seamless and easy. So the goal is to relaunch the Audio Road Network that we had, we actually started it over a decade ago, and it was pretty successful for a while, and we gave it up when I got the new contract with Sirius because they wanted it to be exclusive, so that was one of the things we gave in on. The good news is all of our segments will now become their own shows. So Rolling Toe, Mike Beckett and Kevin Beckett used to do that show on their own. I wasn't the host. I wasn't a co-host. They would just do it all themselves, and we're going to go back to that. The beauty of that, two things. One, when Mike and I do the show together, I really don't add anything technical. I mean, there really aren't any questions I could answer and Mike couldn't. I mean, that segment is about Mike's knowledge. So I think Mike and Kevin Beckett doing it is a better show than Mike and I doing it. I think Kevin's out there turning wrenches every day. He can add to it. And I can still join him once in a while, and I will. I enjoy doing it, but I don't have to. That does two things that's really good for the tribe. If Mike wants to do 2 hours a week or 3 hours a week, or Mike wants to do an hour and Kevin wants to do 2 hours, we can do that now. So you'll be able to get more content. It frees me up. I don't need to be on that show. When it was on Sirius, I had to. There was just no other way around it, really. Now I don't have to be there, so I can go do other segments and come up with new shows and spend more time on the stuff that I'm good at on the air. Same thing with the Power Hour. They'll be able to do that show on their own. I do jump in a lot on that one, but between Ethan and Pete and Bruce, they can answer anything and everything I could answer. And again, I'll join them once in a while and jump in. Some of the segments I will be the host of. Destination Health, I talked about. We're going to launch a second, Destination Health 2, we'll call it a different name. But it'll be a health show where Lauren and I go through discovery calls and one-on-ones. And you'll get to sit through those and see the process and learn how we're working with people and how we problem solve and troubleshoot. I think I may bring back the PIT. The PIT stands for Politics in Trucking. I know there are a lot of people that don't like when I talk about politics, which, on Sirius was usually part of my open. I probably won't do long opens on my Q&A calls. So, we'll have calls that a lot of people have always asked for. Hey, why don't you go back to just talking about trucks, just answering questions? Okay, we will. We have that flexibility now. And I'll have another show. If you want to hear my political opinions or what I think about what's going on in the world, that will be another show, another podcast. Ultimately, our technology will be as simple as you have an app. You go through the app, you choose which one of our shows you want to subscribe to. You'll probably get a notice, maybe a text message or a notice on the app when any show you're subscribed to is going live. So if you want to go listen live, you can. And the shows that you subscribe to will just download automatically to your device. And whenever you want to listen to them, you just listen to them. So after 15 years on Sirius, and it was kind of a big deal, no doubt about it. I really enjoyed it. I liked the reach I had. I loved the fact that we were able to grow such a big, loyal tribe. Now I think maybe the timing's right. Maybe it's time to take that tribe and give it more. I think we can provide far more value with our own network than I was able to on Sirius. And I think I did a lot of good on Sirius. I think I helped a lot of people. But I think we can do even more and help even more. So, consider our network the new trucking channel, or maybe the real trucking channel. And that's what we're going to build. We're going to build out as many really high quality episodes as we can to bring you as much good information as we can. I'm also going to be looking to develop new shows and new talent. So anybody listening, if you've ever had the thought that, this looks like fun, maybe you want to do it, come up with a good idea, a theme, a concept, whatever your strength might be or what your show wants to be. We'll create a way that you could submit that idea to us. And if we like the idea, we'll work with you to help you get set up and figure out the technology. And I'll work with you on, how to do a show. And we'll give it a shot, and we'll see what works. So that's really the goal. We're going to take this network and we're going to run with it. We're going to try to create the very best trucking content we can. Eventually, and it might not be all that long, I might have somebody come in and build me a little video studio, and maybe we'll do at least some of my segments as a video broadcast as well. That's kind of what I'm thinking right now. It looks like we're let's see, do we have any calls? Yeah, we do. You know what, though? I'm going to have to wrap this up. I really do appreciate everybody taking the time. Looks like we had just about 200 people on. Wow. All right. I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to hit the road. I have no idea where I'm going to try to get to today. I think I need to get about 8 hours in, though, to stay on track. So thanks again, as always, and we will see you soon. Don't forget, master the journey and all that other good stuff. Thanks, everybody.